take you to Chapel Hill right now because Chelsea Donovan is standing by. There's a clash between opposing sides there right now. Chelsea, explain what's happening.
I'm going to step out of the shot and show you what's going on right now. This has been chaos really all morning with these two sides fighting back and forth. They're actually now fighting over which side is going to have their flag flying high here on the campus of UNC right outside of the library now. Hundreds have turned out. You can see with Kurt's live shot, some of the Jewish community students here are really trying to overcome this pro-Palestine rally. Now, this was touted as a resistance rally. Students and professors looking on as a large group of students have been holding signs stating free Palestine, colonization is violence, and supporting Israel is supporting colonization. Now, many UNC students with that organization spoke at this event shouting things like free Palestine and Israel is a terrorist. We should mention that this was a rally, and it's still getting pretty heated here as many Jewish students showed up in opposition with signs stating stand with Israel and rape is not resistance. That's referring to Israel's reports of what Hamas is doing right now. Now, the two groups have been shouting at each other all morning throughout the rally. Many students screaming at the group, many Jewish students screaming that this group is pro-killing in Israel. Now, we should mention that campus security here has also been increased throughout the morning as university is pretty much right now on high alert during this protest and subsequent rally. But as you can see, things are still underway here on the campus of UNC. This is expected to go about another half an hour. You'll hear from many of these students on both sides coming up in our later newscasts.
You can see and feel the tension there in Chapel Hill with the emotions running high on both sides of this, with Israel and Hamas at war going into its sixth day. Chelsea Donovan live from Chapel Hill.
Israel continued to hammer the Gaza Strip with airstrikes today as the war entered that sixth day, and the Israeli military said it was preparing for a potential ground assault on Hamas in Gaza, while the death toll has reached now more than 2,700 people on all sides of this conflict. Kelly Kobier reports from Tel Aviv.
Well, here in Israel, they're digging fresh graves for the more than 1,200 victims of this attack, even as Israeli fighter jets continue to bombard Gaza, hitting targets in northern Gaza overnight. The Israeli Defense Forces saying they struck 450 targets overnight and into the morning, leaving some streets just completely unrecognizable. The IDF said that they're hitting operation command centers used by operatives who carried out this attack on Israel. Inside Gaza, the situation for civilians is extremely difficult. Hospitals are overrun. Doctors are talking about large numbers of children being brought in with traumatic injuries. Half of the Palestinian population in Gaza is under the age of 19. They are running out of fuel very quickly at these hospitals and could be basically inoperable, not able to care for patients in a matter of days. And there's also, of course, a lot of concern for the hostages being held, anywhere from 100 to 150 hostages. We do know that Americans are among them. The White House hasn't specified how many, only saying that it's a small number. President Biden really pushed on this yesterday, asked what the U.S. was doing to free them. He said there are a lot of things happening to free them and that he hasn't given up hope.
With Israel at war with Hamas, people here in the Triangle are making their voices heard about how they feel regarding Israel and Palestine. Let's go back out to Chapel Hill, where Chelsea Donovan is covering clashing demonstrations. Look at that turnout behind you, Chelsea.
Absolutely. What started out as a peaceful protest here with a pro-Palestinian group made up of students has turned chaotic. I want to show you what's happened. These students that have called the rally are now creating this barrier here so these Jewish students who are opposed to what they say can't get through, because as we know, a Jewish professor just a few minutes ago tried to take a Jewish flag onto the steps here. He was pushed off the steps by the folks who called this rally, and a drink was also thrown on him. That is when UNC-Chapel Hill police, there's a lot of them out here, carted that man away for questioning and also just to get him out of harm's way. But you can see here, Kurt, turn around, you can see the students here kind of arm in arm locking, so these folks that are opposed to them, that are standing with Israel, many of the Jewish students in this community don't go through, because it started to get really heated. As you saw earlier, it was kind of the fighting over the flags. And so there are a lot of speakers out here that are trying to get their message across, a lot of shouting, a lot of chaos. There is probably, I would say, at least 1,000 people here on campus. This was a rally that was called by the Students for Palestine earlier this morning. It was touted as a resistance rally, but in that flyer that they sent out across campus, there was a paraglider on that has caused a lot of concern for many who are opposed to that message. So you can see the speakers are still going strong here an hour and a half into this. But we should mention campus security is on high alert. There are multiple police officers surrounding this area, even carting off a UNC professor, a practicing Jew, who was pushed down the stairs and got a drink thrown at him. So this is a situation that is still unfolding. A lot of voices want to be heard, a lot of different views, so we're continuing to monitor the situation.
So you're talking about the police presence and the security presence there. We can't really see any on the video that you have there, but has there been an arrest made?
There has not been an arrest made. He was just taken off because it got a little too violent here. Like I said, he was pushed down the stairs here and then had a drink thrown at him because he was trying to show a flag that they were not supporting. And so we know right now that he is still out in this area. I don't see him now, but he was being questioned by police.
And Chelsea, do you see a strong police or security presence there, given the turnout and the strong emotions being expressed here at these protests?
Yeah, you can see, Kurt, if you can zoom in, they're kind of at the perimeter, so you can see two UNC-Chapel Hill police officers here, and they're kind of around the perimeter. There looks to be about 8 or 9 different officers here. Oh, and if you see to your left there, there is the man in the blue shirt who was carted off. Kurt, let's see if we can talk with him. Excuse me. We understand that this is a professor here on campus who was pushed down the stairs and had a drink thrown at him. Sir, I understand that you were carted off by police, but you were obviously kind of trying to say a strong message. How are you feeling this afternoon after this rally?
I don't know what to say anymore. Those people are your support, people that killed hundreds of people, kids, babies, put babies in chains and burned them, beheaded people, took as hostages people with dementia in their 80s, raped publicly women. This is what they support, so you ask them, that's their life.
I understand you had the Israeli flag and you were kind of going up the stairs, and then I noticed that you were pushed down the stairs and had a drink thrown at you. What is this, the remnants of something? I mean, I know that you have a strong opinion and you wanted your voice to be heard, and then it sort of got a little violent. I mean, how do you feel about that?
I did not do anything violent.
Sure.
They pushed me and I stayed there. I'm Israeli. I don't think one should just watch what was done in recent days and the horrors that were done by them that are comparable to ISIS, comparable to Nazis. That's just a fact. So, I mean, it's said that there are these people here that support that. It's very scary.
We're glad you're okay, and we appreciate you speaking out.
Thank you.
And once again, we'll continue to monitor the situation here in front of the library on the campus of UNC and bring you some of the latest developments in our later newscasts.
Certainly, this is something we'll be following throughout this hour of news online. Get the latest updates at WRAL.com, certainly in the WRAL News app.